to this episode of the Corporate Escapists TV show and podcast. I am your host, Christine Innes. Can I just say, I am freaking delighted to have just such a fresh breath of air, the beautiful and very, just amazing Cass Barrie. Thank you, beautiful, for being here.
Hello, thank you for having me.
I'm really excited about today because, we were just off air and I said, let's just go wherever it takes us. So I think today's conversation is going to be pretty epic with whatever we're going to let loose out there. So before I get carried away, my friend, I'm going to get you to introduce yourself and then we're going to have an epic conversation today.
Amazing. Well, yes, I am Cassandra Barrie. I am a business therapist. I'm located sort of right on the edge of Brisbane and Ipswich here in Queensland. And business therapist. What the hell is a business therapist? So for me, I have had several businesses over several different industries. And I've had coaches and then I've had therapists as, excuse me, as I've had wonderful, crazy, chaotic, journey so far. And I really sort of felt that I was more than a business coach and people need therapy. So I was like, you know what, let's mash them together because for me, when I was at the peak of my businesses, I had four businesses at the time, all spanning over quite a few different industries, and my husband Glenn passed away. And that really threw me into this whole different world as a human, but then as a business owner. And I just sort of feel that we try and separate the two when we're not. When you're in business, you are your business. So business coaching just wasn't right for me. And then that's how we created, yeah, business therapy. So when you grow, your business grows.
Absolutely. I always say to people, if you want to go on a personal development journey, start a business. And honestly, what you're doing is so needed because you learn so much about yourself, sometimes the good stuff and sometimes
Mm.
the not so good things as well. So having someone like you, that's what I love is the fact that you're not just teaching from a textbook, you're teaching from real life as well. You've been through it and you've come out the other side. And I think that's probably one of the best things I ever look for in a coach myself is somebody who's been through it as well.
Oh. Mhm. I think the thing is as well, everything needs to be it needs to be lived. Even if you learn it in a textbook, you still then need to go and action it to one, anchor it in and to actually learn from it. Everything needs to be put into action for you to really be able to truly learn it.
Yeah, absolutely. How much has, when you first started your businesses and you look back now, what would be the one piece of advice that you would have given yourself back then?
Get a good accountant.
I love it. Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's not even getting a good accountant. It's finding the people who you can understand and who understand you and who you trust enough that you're not afraid to ask the questions. And I think that was one of my biggest things, especially in the realm of accounting and numbers and things like that, was the fact that I knew my accountant, they were a family friend, but I sort of had put them on a pedestal. And I was too afraid to ask the questions or to just question them. And that bit me in the ass several times over. And I've been in business now for 15 years and I've probably only had two accountants that I've really trusted and been able to question. Um,
Mm,
and I've had a few accountants over the years.
yeah. Yeah, it's interesting you bring that because it's literally something I've gone through. I've just started with a brand new accountant,
Mm,
but it's a giving yourself permission to ask the questions because sometimes we're like, oh, as a business owner, I should know this, but you are the expert in your field, not the
Mm.
expert in their field. And that's okay to ask the questions that you are probably going to be really uncomfortable with it. But also, too, like you said, you put somebody on a pedestal, it's almost like you're trusting before they even show you the proof of what they can do.
Oh, 100%. And I think that's the thing. Like, this shit's way deeper than fucking, get a good accountant. But it's for me, it was that permission piece. It was that questioning. It was
Mm,
that, again, they're supposed to be the expert in their field. So you put a lot of faith and trust in them. Just like, at the time I was a hairdresser, so my clients put faith and trust in me with their hair. So I kind of did the same with my accountant, but then never questioned it. And there's so many other things that have happened throughout my business journey that are the same thing that I'm like, why didn't I question that?
mm,
Or why did I allow that to happen? So it's
yeah.
taking ownership, but also giving yourself permission to make mistakes.
Yeah. I love that, the permission to make mistakes, because we forget that we're still human beings. We're here to have a human experience. And that sometimes means like doing stuff that you may not make the right decision, but it's the decision that you made because of the information you had at the time. And we
Mm.
put ourselves down so much based on those decisions, but we didn't have the information maybe to make a better informed decision back then as well.
Oh, for sure. And I think no one goes into business really truly knowing exactly what's involved, so you're learning along the
Yeah.
way as well.
Yeah.
um and in business you cannot do and be absolutely everything, like you just
Yeah.
can't. And trust me, I've tried.
Yes. Yeah, no, absolutely. There's a How much have you, like, obviously there's business strategy, there's business mindset.
Mhm.
Like, what have you found is probably one of your most successful tools that you have really embraced the most for your
Yeah,
business?
is listening to my body, is actually
Mm,
listening to me. So not putting my business first, putting myself first.
mm,
So last year I cut my hours. Like I dropped a couple of nights that I was working. I cut my hours back. I was picking my son up from school and having the afternoon with him, and I tripled my business.
yeah.
I opened less, made more money. So that was listening to, what I needed. And then my business kind of flowed from there, because our businesses they are birthed from us. Whether you're actually even running your business or you're working in your business, or you could be, sitting in the office and other people are running the business for you. You might not even really touch base with your business much. I've got some
Mm,
friends who check in on their business every 3 months, and it's all good. But the thing is that business is still energetically tethered to them.
yeah.
So when they're not in a great place, the business will reflect that, whether
Mm,
you're in there or not. And I learnt that the hard way. 2018, I had a motorcycle accident. And I ended up with shoulder surgery. I was out for about 18 weeks. I had an addiction. I ended up with an addiction to painkillers. And I wasn't even going into my salon because there wasn't anything I could do. I couldn't even sweep the freaking floor. So there's no point me being in there. I had a great team that were running it, but looking over that 18-week period, the business dropped substantially. And that was because my energy was so off.
yeah.
Um, the times that I did touch or I did interact with the business was negative. Like I was angry, or I was a terrible boss at that time. I really, really was.
Mm,
And I couldn't understand why. I'm like, I'm not even in there. Like I wasn't even working on the floor anyway. So income wise wasn't relying on me that being there. But I was just like, but I'm not even there. Why is it still shit? I'm not even there. I know I'm in a bad mood, but I'm not even there. Like, and then it's now as I've kind of progressed over the years now, realizing that it's the energetic tether from me to the business that I birthed that I am still in control of, whether I like it or not. So
mm.
if shit's going haywire in your business, take a step back and have a look at what's going on in your life as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, I love that because so many people forget that, like going, oh yeah, I've got a business, oh, it's got its own brand, it's got its own identity, but it's still you. Like you are your business. And I think that so many business owners forget that element. They forget it in their marketing, they forget it in, their strategies, they forget it in how even they show up themselves for what
Mhm.
they're wanting to achieve, because we can all have stuff happen in our lives.
Mhm.
You've experienced stuff, I've experienced stuff, but we still have a goal and a dream, and it's that why do we start the business? And I think we forget the why so many times as a business owner.
Mhm. And it's just as well, like it's not even your own energy, it's other people's um energy and the
Mhm.
way they look at your business. Like for me, I sold my salon 4 years ago, and I still have people connecting me to being that hairdresser and that salon
Yeah.
owner. So even if you're not a part of it, your energy is still tethered
Yeah.
to, parts of it. Um, and when I've seen it with big brands as well, like big brands have like sold or been bought out, but the person who created it is still energetically tethered to that business and that brand because
Yeah.
of other people's perceptions. So, um, there's always going to be that connection, and you have to take fucking ownership for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest and the hardest sort of, whether it's pilled like to swallow sort of thing, is the ownership of the highs, the lows, and everything in between. Like it's messy sometimes, but
Mhm.
when you own it, I feel like deeply like the work that I've done, like personally, is that when you own it, you are actually taking that full responsibility, but also too, you're not allowing anybody else, and like you're talking on an energetic level, they're not in control anymore. So
Mm.
you take that personal responsibility, you own it. So you actually release the energetic connection to other people to have the influence over it as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's putting in that well, it's claiming it.
Yeah.
It's claiming it and accepting it. So it's claiming your responsibility for it, but then it's accepting, like I said earlier, it's accepting the mistakes and the lessons and the wild rides that will come with it as well. Like,
Yeah.
and yeah, you don't go into business, or if you do go into business thinking it's going to be easy, you are well and truly in the wrong position.
Exactly, exactly. I was watching a video the other day and they used the analogy, like those like blow up sort of punching bag sort of things. And they're like going, oh, like it goes over, it comes back up, it goes over and comes back up. And the person, I've got to remember who it was. And they're like going, oh, sometimes I just want to fall back down and stay down. And they're like going, well, I thought you were an entrepreneur, because an entrepreneur learns how to fall down and get back up, fall down and get back up, because
Mhm.
we've got that drive. It's it's something I think you can learn, but it's also something that's uniquely embedded in certain individuals as well. We've got a drive to do better, to make a difference in the world, and to be of service to other people.
Oh, 100%. I'm opening a brand new location on Saturday. So I'm opening like a co-working office space, and I literally sat down this morning and went, you know what? I could just not go in and just pretend it doesn't exist. Like
Yeah,
I'm like I could I'm just done. I'm just done. Like
yeah,
I think I'm at the point where I'm like I'm not excited because there's still so much to do, but then I am excited, but then I'm numb. Like it's just like, what the hell, you know?
yeah.
And so I think that's the thing is it's just realizing that part of the success journey and part of business is taking the highs and lows, which is
Mm.
also fucking life, like really.
Yeah, absolutely. I have this quote, and it's dreams plus action equal reality, because
Mm.
to make everything to, like Bob Proctor says, like anything you can see in the screen of your mind, you can hold into your hands. But it's the action that you take personally. Like you can't rely on anybody else. It's up to you. Like you've had the ability to dream whatever dream it is. You've now got to take the action to make it happen. And
Mhm.
Sometimes it's, quick action. Sometimes it's, slow and steady wins the race. But if you're just going to sit there and keep dreaming about it, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. Like a dream is a dream, and a dream has to become a vision, and then it has to become a goal, and then it needs to be actioned for it to become a reality. And
Yeah.
I think for me, you know, when my husband passed, so it was back in 2015, he passed, and I was 30 weeks pregnant with our son at the time, and I had never faced death.
Mm.
So for me, that was that catalyst and that turning point and that reality of like, okay, well, we're not promised tomorrow. Like, stop having all these dreams. Stop dreaming about it. Start fucking doing it.
Yeah.
And now we're, 10 years on, and that's exactly what I live by now is if I can see it like you just said, if I can see it, I can make it reality.
Yeah, absolutely. Because honestly, I feel like, you know, whatever we do, and it's not always about starting a business. It's just could be being the best mom. It could be the best person in the world, like, kind and generous and caring. Like, that's your legacy that you're leaving behind. And I think we forget
Mhm.
that even after we're gone, like, I mean, this is why I love doing my books and the magazine and the podcast and all this other stuff, because you're leaving this legacy, you're leaving this footprint behind, and you never know who could watch it later on. It's like it's
Mhm.
ever growing. It's such a beautiful thing. And just your kindness in the world, the stories that you share, that's leaving a legacy for other people to show them what is absolutely possible.
Yeah, definitely. And it's showing people, it's taking people through your lessons as well. It's creating, little textbooks along the way so people can learn.
Yeah,
And that's what we're supposed to do. We are supposed to evolve. The earth is ever evolving, the universe is ever evolving, us as humans are ever evolving. Like that is what we are supposed to do. If we
yeah,
don't continue to shift and learn and grow, then what the hell are we even doing here?
yeah, absolutely. Tell us about this amazing space that you've created because
Mm.
I'm really excited for it. Very excited. Tell us, what are some of the amazing things? I know you're going to have events and all of that there, but you've got a co-working space as well. But I just know that, like, with your energy, your vibrance as well, what it's going to bring, not only to the community, but to also business owners.
Yeah, so for me, like out here in Ipswich, we're really not far. Like we're not, but we are a little kind of, semi-rural city, country town, really. Sometimes we get forgotten about here in the old Ipswich. But for me, that was the biggest thing. Like I said, I've been in business now in Ipswich for 15 years, and I just get sick of traveling to Brisbane and the Gold Coast for events. I was just like, we have I think 4305 and 4306 postcodes are one of the largest postcodes probably in, Southeast Queensland. We have so much area that we reach under the banner of Ipswich. And I'm just like, we have so many business owners, so many amazing companies, so many amazing brands out here that just get forgotten about. Or we have to leave our hometown to go to everything. Love the Gold Coast, love Brisbane. There's always something amazing happening. And I was just like, no, why can't we have this in Ipswich? And so it was one of those things that I was like, you know what? I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to build it. I'm going to create it. And so Citrine Spaces, that's opening is, yeah, it's a co-working, it's actually called the Entrepreneurs Playground is the tagline. And that's exactly what it is. It's going to be a space where business owners can come together and create. We'll have like hot desk hire. I can turn it into like a conference venue. I run breath work, so I'm even going to chuck yoga mats down and turn it into a space like that. But I feel we have so many of these kind of content creation studios popping up everywhere, which is amazing. But I always feel when I walk into them a little bit uninspired.
Mm.
And I know that they are generally white and beige because they've got to accommodate everyone in their branding and all of that kind of thing. And there's more flexibility, obviously, in a plain space, but I just can't do it. Like I can't do plain. I was like, I need to create a space that feels inviting and inspiring and safe and warm. Um, and I really think that's exactly what I've done
Yeah.
with Citrine Spaces. You know, it's just going to be somewhere that's going to bring people together from all walks of life, all industries, all business models, all business shapes and sizes, and just be like, hey, let's create together. Let's
Yeah.
learn. So,
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love the name too. It's my favorite.
yes,
So
yeah.
yes, absolutely love it. I honestly, like I said to you, I adore you. I love what you're doing. I love how you are raw and authentic because I think so many people are trying to play it safe in the world, whereas, we are born with such unique gifts and we need to start sharing that with the world. And you are certainly doing that, my friend. I am so excited for you for what's to come.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Mm.
It's easier to just be all of you, you know.
Yes,
Like,
yes, absolutely. I remember I would like being in corporate. I would go home and I was so tired, like so tired. And it was
mhm.
because I was pretending to be somebody else. And then I'm like going, oh my goodness, like hats off to these actors that have to pretend on like 14, 16, 18 hour sets every single day. Like now I know why you get paid the big bucks. Like, it's massive.
Yeah.
Like, but isn't it? It's so much easier, isn't it? Like just to show up for yourself.
hmm And I think as well, like for me, like you were saying before about leaving that legacy and stuff like that, like I want to create that permission slip for others, like help them see that. And I think, we're in a generation now where we're learning so much more about ourselves and emotional intelligence and energy and all that than what, say, those who have come before us have. And I want to be able to learn most of that so I can then continue to pass it on. Like I've got a child, I've got nieces and nephews, even my family and my siblings. So it's like the only way that I can best give the lesson is to live it first.
Oh, absolutely. I literally see you like, okay, here's an idea. You can run with it if you want to. I'll give it to you for free. Um, as I walk into Citrine Spaces, here's a permission slip just to say it's your permission to be yourself. And that's the only criteria for them to enter the space.
Yeah.
So oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. What is
Yeah.
next for you? Obviously, I know that you are a very creative person. Obviously, you got Citrine Spaces. What else is happening in your world?
So I opened Citrine this week and then I run a collection of networking and collaboration events. Some are free, some are ticketed, so they happen throughout the month. But then also next month I'm actually launching Messy Business. So it's a really nice, intimate group mastermind, I guess, coaching course container. I don't know, all of the fucking words that we throw out there. But I've really just learnt over the past year of working that I don't work great. Well, I do. I work amazing in everything I do, just, tickets. Bit of an ego stroke there. But no, I work better in more intimate environments when I'm working with my clients. And it's taken me a good 12 months to one, accept that because we're taught so much like, oh, service more people at once and it'll make you more money, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, it's not about the money. I love it and I'm grateful that I'm making it, but I'm not striving for $1 billion business.
Yeah.
That's not my level of success goal. So for me, I've really scaled everything back. So everything's moving more into a more intimate relationship and connection. And so messy businesses are these small pods of 6 business owners.
I love it.
And I'm
I love
like,
it.
over 12 weeks, I'm like, oh my God, the things that we can do together in those small, intimate spaces. And then even with my networking events that I run, they're capped at like 30 people.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's just, I really want to focus this year on that intimacy, knowing the people that I'm working with, creating like really actual, strong, lasting relationships.
Mm. I am hearing you on all levels with that. So, yeah, definitely. I mean, I said to myself I wasn't going to have a coach this year. But when I've been looking at coaches, I'm like, oh, I can't do the big groups anymore because you get lost in it. And as you would know, like when you work with a coach, like it's not just the business growth, it's also the personal growth that you've got to allow the time and space for
Mhm.
that to happen as well. And I feel like sometimes in those bigger groups, you don't get the capacity to sort of allow your body, like you're saying, your body, your mind, your spirit to sort of catch up to where your business is going, and also sometimes vice versa.
And I think sometimes there are some of us who have joined big groups, and are like, oh, it's okay. I can just hide in the background here.
Yeah.
And oh yeah, cool, I showed up. I was on the Zoom. Yeah, but you didn't fucking do shit. So
Yeah,
just wasting your money and your time.
exactly. Exactly. Well, I am so excited for you for what's to come. We are going to pop all of the details below that people can reach out to you. If
Awesome.
anybody is watching this episode, what is one piece of advice, whether it's life, business, whatever you want to merge into it, that you would give them right now?
I'm gonna need to get a new one, but this is so alive to me right now. I think I've said it on like the past few podcasts. But it's so fucking true. And it's so simple. It's what you aren't changing, you are choosing.
Yes. Oh, I
And it,
love it.
yeah, it's so true. You know, you have the
Yes.
ability, everything is a choice.
Yeah, absolutely. Before you go, I want to ask you 5 questions that we've been asking all of our guests. It's just a little bit of fun for everyone to get to know you on a personal level. Are you ready?
Yes, let's go.
Okay, cool. So, if you had some spare time, would you prefer to curl up with a book or to watch a movie?
Book.
Are you a Kindle person or are you a physical book?
I've just started tinkering in Kindle. A friend of mine had one for sale and I've just started, but it's also because I live in a tiny home. Like I am a book person.
Yeah.
Um, my office is probably like, almost the size of my bedroom. So I've had to go to Kindle because I just don't have the physical space.
Yeah.
Whereas otherwise I'm a book person for
Yeah.
sure. I struggled. I met the Kindle with resistance.
I love it. I love it. If you could, you're traveling to your like dream destination, would you prefer to travel by boat or by plane?
Ooh, plane.
Plane. Yeah. Yeah. I don't like flying, but I know I get there quicker.
Yeah, yeah. And to be honest, we went whale watching like a couple of years ago, and that didn't end pretty, but that could have also been the alcohol.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I
you know,
understand. I understand. I understand.
I really do want to go on a cruise. Everyone keeps telling me how amazing cruises are. So it's like, all right, maybe I'll have to give that a go. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's that, and also it's either a cruise or going to the States next year. So I'm trying to work
Nice.
out whichever.
Yeah.
So you're going to have a amazing dinner party. Now you're allowed to invite one special guest, and that can be from the past or from the present. Who would it be?
And this is probably sounds like cliche as shit, but yeah, I'd have to invite my husband.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That would be really special. Yeah,
Mm.
I love
Mm.
it.
Yeah.
And if you could describe yourself in just one word, what would it be?
Chaos.
It's a beautiful chaos. It's
It is.
amazing.
I
I
love it.
love it.
It's gloriously, gloriously chaotic.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. Well, the beautiful Cassandra Barrie, thank you so much for being here on today's show. We're going to pop all of the links how people can reach out to you. Thank you so much for joining us here today.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, everyone who has watched this episode. We are absolutely thrilled that you have been here. Remember to live life to the fullest every single day. Love and light to you all.